Hey guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel, and I want to talk to you guys about the 32 Malignant hearts that have been revealed for Season 1. Will they be enough to undo the freaking fest of I don't even know what the patch was yesterday, but we did the update video, so if you guys want to see the patch notes, it is up on the channel, go check that video out. But basically they just nerfed everything a lot. So hopefully these hearts can bring back some power and make us feel like closer to where we were before yesterday's patch. So without further ado, let's hop into it. There is different color hearts. We have the orange one, which is offensive powers. We have the brutal one, which is blue, defensive. The devious, which is pink, utility. And then the wrathful, which is like the super black ones. These, I believe, can fit into any socket. So how it's going to work is you can put these into your jewelry sockets. There will be different color sockets on your jewelry, and you've got to obviously match the corresponding one to that. And then it seems like there is 3 of each type for all classes, like a general, and then there's 1 of each type for every single class. So without further ado, let's hop into it. The Pekana, vicious, offensive, critical strike, electrically charge the enemy for that amount of seconds, causing lightning to arc between them and any other charged enemies, dealing lightning damage. This is also, that number apparently is to like a level 20 character, so these numbers will go up as your character goes up in power level. These item levels of these hearts will scale to you, so obviously these damage numbers will increase as well, so keep that in mind. So this critical strikes is just going to be more AoE. This could be really good for Woe and Barb, because there you're critting pretty much all the time, so it's just gonna, but then Woe and Barb already has good AoE. The weakness of Woe and Barb is single target, and this is kind of just buffing AoE, so yeah, I could see some builds making use of it. I mean, even though crit has been nerfed like massively now, crit damage, so that's probably still going to be good though. So pretty good, pretty average, nothing crazy. Let's move on to the next one, the Dark Dance. Every 5 seconds while above 60% life, core skills cost 68 to 51 life instead of your primary resource. Skills that consume life deal 10 to 20% increased damage. Now this is an interesting one. Definitely not going to be used by anyone on hardcore, because you don't want to be using your life for skills in hardcore, but this could alleviate some of the resource problems on some builds, especially now after the changes to like the druid passive and lucky hit and all the stuff that's happened. Maybe this could see some use on softcore at least, and probably there's a necromancer build that's going to utilize this a lot, because I know their blood necro deals a lot with like lifesteal and stuff. But the druid and the rogue both got gutted hardcore on their lifesteal, or their sustain, so everybody else had kind of meh sustain anyway, so we'll see how this goes. I'm not too impressed with it, but you know, it is what it is. Tempting Fate. You gain 40 to 60% critical strike damage, but your non-critical strikes deal less damage. So anybody stacking crit chance, there you go, you just got a little bit of your crit damage back, even though... So this one might bring you back to where you used to be before the nerfs. Yeah, I could see it being good, just you'd have to obviously have over a certain amount of crit to make this really valuable, because if you're under like 50% crit, then you know, more often than not, you're going to be doing less damage because you're not going to be critting to get the critical strike damage. But a lot of builds do focus on crit, so I do see this being a pretty good one over there. Now we move on to the defensive ones, the Lion Heart. You gain 10% barrier generation, alright, so only souls can use it. You heal 3 to 7 life per second while you have an active barrier. I mean, maybe if this stacks with Temerity, the pants, then everybody could use it. But as far as I know, only really Sork has barrier. Everyone else is either Fortify or some other stuff. So yeah, it seems okay. I mean, if this works with the Temerity pants, this could actually be really strong and really good. So we'll have to see how that goes. Revenge. 10 to 20% of incoming damage is instead suppressed. When you use a defensive, subterfuge or macabre skill, all suppressed damage is amplified by 250% and explodes, dealing up to 1360 2040 fire damage to nearby enemies. This is interesting because on my Sork, I use Frost Nova, that's a defensive. I use Teleport, that's a defensive. I use the Ice Shield defensive. I use the Flame Shield defensive. And then my left click is, I don't even know anymore. Yeah, so I use 4 defensives. The other 2 is obviously Firewall and then my big Inferno Snake. So 4 skills of mine. This could potentially be really, really good. I mean, 10 to 20% of incoming damage is instead suppressed. So it's gone away. So that's a 10 to 20% damage reduction, so to say. And then that will explode as fire damage. That could just make my fire build even stronger. The firewall build I have, so that could be pretty good. I'm really interested to see what this one does. And then let's move on. Prudent Heart. You become immune for 2 to 4 seconds after you lose more than 20% life in a single hit. This effect can only occur once every 110 seconds, so just under 2 minutes. Interesting. Probably really good for hardcore players, just to give you that little bit of immune shield when you do get hit, so you can like regen it back, especially now with your sustain being a lot less with the druid nerf and the rogue nerf, the both of their massive sustains. Could be good. In softcore, probably not, because if you die then you just respawn, doesn't really matter. I would not give up like something else. I'd much rather have revenge than use this on softcore. So moving on, determination. Resource draining effects are 40 to 50% less effective. I'm guessing that is like resource burn on nightmare dungeons. In addition, gain 3 to 8% increased resource gen. So I mean, usually you skip the nightmare dungeons with resource burn, so you don't do them anyway. So this kind of is pointless, this effect there. But you could just read this whole thing as literally just giving you increased resource gen. So just ignore the first part, and then the second part over there could be really nice. I mean, 3 to 8%, if that scales multiplicatively with everything, you could get quite a bit of resource from this. So definitely want to try this out and see how much resource it actually gives. Will be really cool. Retaliation. Deal fire damage to surrounding enemies whenever a crowd control effect is removed from you. I mean, first of all, you don't want to be getting crowd controlled in the first place. And second of all, you're not going to really try and make a build around being crowd control and then breaking crowd control to do damage. That is a very questionable one. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. So far, that's my least favorite one. You know, it is what it is. Alright, is that calculated? Let's see. After spending 150 to 200 of your primary resource, your next attack stun enemy hit for 2 seconds. This could be pretty good since we're going to be using our primary resource anyway. The only build that doesn't really use that much primary resource is like Minion Necro. Everybody else pretty much uses their resource for something. Even Necro like Bone Spear, everybody else uses it. So making them stun could then give you defense as well because they're stunned, and it could also activate some of your damage multipliers that have been nerfed. So I mean, you know, it is what it is, but that's pretty good. I like that one. And then the Malignant Pack. Cycle through a Malignant bonus every 20 kills. Vicious. Gain 20 attack speed, 20% attack speed. Core and basic skills have a 15% chance to fully restore your primary resource. That is massive. That's really good. Brutal. Every 21 seconds, gain a barrier absorbing damage. This actually seems pretty strong, and I believe everybody is probably going to want to go for this one. This one is really strong, especially 20 kills if you like speed farming through nightmare dungeons. That's definitely a really good one there. Creeping Death. Your damage over time effects are increased by 30 to 40% for each different crowd control effect on the target. Unstoppable monsters and staggered bosses instead take 130% increased damage from your damage over time effects. So your DOTs will be doing more damage with more control effects on the target. So my Fire Sork, when it freezes, when it makes them unstoppable, it's going to be doing more damage. When you freeze them and stuff, they're going to be doing more damage. Your Poison Rogue's going to be doing more damage because it's slow. Your Barb's going to be doing more bleeding damage. And your Druid's going to be doing more poison damage as well. Really good. I see this one being pretty good. Let's move on to the Barber. Critical strikes and all subsequent damage within 2 to 4 seconds is absorbed by your target. Then the absorbed damage erupts onto surrounding enemies. Stored damage is increased by 10% per second. Interesting. This could be really interesting on Woe and Barb. But again, it's buffing something they don't need buffed. It's buffing AoE damage because it's erupting onto surrounding enemies. Still not helping your single target, which a lot of builds struggle with. Well, some builds struggle with single target, some with AoE. So this could help out the AoE ones, but Woe and Barb, where I see critical strikes being pretty good on, it doesn't struggle in AoE. After spending 160 Fury within 2 seconds, your next non-basic skill's critical strike chance is increased by 20 to 30%. This could be nice for Hammer the Ancient builds, or just anything in general, because you'll be spending Fury really fast with Woe and with Hammer the Ancients. Maybe their new Rupture build comes out because of the changes to Rupture. So let's see how that all goes, increasing the crit chance of Rupture and the Death Blow buff as well. So we'll see how that goes. What's this? Resurgent Life. While below 40 to 60 life, you receive 50 to 60% more healing from all sources. although you don't really heal that much anyway. But maybe it's good, maybe not. I don't see it being that great, but we'll have to see how that works. Your skills have a 20 to 30% chance to knock down all enemies for 1.25 seconds when that skill's attack speed is higher than 35 to 20%. That seems like a very weird one. Like, you have to meet this threshold. Your skills have a chance to knock them down if their attack speed is higher than that. So this seems pretty gimmicky. Maybe there's some weird interactions and it actually works really well with some aspects and things, like the core skill increases, the basic skill increases your next core skill's attack speed. Maybe that works like that. To see ignore pain, incoming damage has a 5 to 15% chance of being ignored and instead healing you for 17 to 68. This could be really good if it actually procs often. I mean, 5 to 15% chance is pretty low, but hey, it's a higher drop chance than the Uber Uniques, so maybe, we'll see. Druid, the Moon Rage. Kills have a 5% chance to summon a wolf companion to your side for 20 to 30 seconds. In addition, gain +3 to wolves. Wow, they just made the wolf skill cost us a whole Malignant Heart, because I bet it's still going to be trash. Nobody's going to use companions or wolves. But hey, maybe we'll have to make a companion build and see if it does something now, but I don't think it's going to change much. But we'll stay optimistic, you know, we'll try it out. Let's see, Brutal, what's this? The Agitated Winds. When 8 to 13 close enemies automatically class Cyclone Armor. This cannot occur more than once every 10 to 20 seconds. I don't like this one, because when you're jumping into a pack, activating Cyclone Armor, it's going to make the pack evaporate. It's going to push them back, because Cyclone Armor does a pushback. Why would you want that? Like, who wants that? You just ran in a circle to gather up mobs to drop your nuke. As soon as they all gather up and there's more than 8 to 13 close enemies, they get pushed away. Hello? Am I the only one that thinks about that? But I don't like this one. This one's terrible. So two terrible ones for Druid so far. Let's see. Ineroxible Force. Up to 30 to 50 distant enemies are pulled towards you while you have an ultimate skill active. This is much better, because a lot of your stuff is melee focused on the Druid. So them pulling 30 to 50 distant enemies, that means enemies far away. When you Grizzly Rage, because that's an ultimate, or if you use the Stony Freeze thing, I forgot the name of it, or Cataclysm, that's all ultimates. That's pretty good. I like this one. Really good. The Unconstrained Beast. When you are hit with a stun, freeze, or knockdown effect, there is a 40 to 60% chance to automatically activate Grizzly Rage. Ooh, okay. That is really good, especially now with the nerf to Grizzly Rage is unstoppable. Before, Grizzly Rage would give you unlimited unstoppable. As long as you were in Grizzly Rage, you had unstoppable, and you could pretty much always have Grizzly Rage up with a little bit of downtime in between. Obviously now it's going to be a lot harder because they've nerfed cooldown reduction, and they made it so that you're only unstoppable for 6 seconds after activating Grizzly Rage. So for the first 6 seconds of Grizzly Rage, you are unstoppable. So if this procs every time, obviously you do have to be outside of the window for this to proc, if you know what I mean. Because if you're in Grizzly Rage for the first 6 seconds, you can't get stun, frozen, knockdown effect anyway. So this won't proc. But then once you're out of it, it has a chance to proc. I wonder if this works if you're in Grizzly Rage and then you get stunned or CC. So after the initial 6 seconds, if you get stunned then, if it then can proc it again while you're in it. It'll be interesting to see that, because if it doesn't, then this is actually pretty bad. But I believe it should work where it procs it even if you're inside Grizzly Rage, just outside of the 6-second unstoppable window. So if that is true, then this is really good for Druid. This one is okay, but this one's really good. These two, total trash. Don't like them at all. Moving on to Necro. The Sacrilegious. Walking near a corpse automatically activates an equipped corpse skill every second, dealing 40% to 30% reduced damage. Nice little quality of life. You just don't have to use your corpse skill. I wonder if you have multiple corpse skills, which one it's going to prioritize. That will be interesting to see how that works. So could be gimmicky, could not. We'll see how that goes. But overall, pretty good. The Decrepit Aura. When at least 5 enemies are near you, gain an aura that automatically curses surrounding enemies with Decrepify for 5 to 15 seconds. That is nice. Hopefully the roll is actually good on that, and more often it's the 15-second one, because 5 seconds ain't really that long. But that's really nice. It's just more quality of life for the Necro, so you don't even have to cast Aura. I wonder if you have to have Aura selected as a skill, or if it'll just give it to you for free. Because if it gives it to you for free, that would be really nice. Moving on to Frozen Terror. Lucky hit Up to 10 to 20% chance of inflicting fear. Nobody really likes fear because they run away and then you got to chase them down. Feared enemies are chilled for every 20 seconds. Don't like it. Frozen Terror, terrible. That's like Echoing Fury's little fear proc chance. Nobody likes it. You don't want to go chase after enemy. I mean, unless you're playing like Bone Spear, maybe. It's just more CC then. But overall, don't like that one so much. The Great Feast. Each minion drains 1 to 2 essence per second, but deals 50 to 75% increased damage. With no minions, this bonus applies to you and drains 5 essence per second. This is really good. That's a big buff in damage to minions, because you don't use your essence as the minion build anyway. I wonder if you're out of combat, if it's still going to drain your essence. That could be pretty weird, but overall, this one really good. This one really good. These two really good. This one, terrible. Don't like it. Moving on, cluster munitions. Lucky hit. You have up to a 20% chance to launch 3 stun grenades that deal 26 to 32 physical damage and stun enemies. Pretty decent for the stun. If that, but that does seem like it's going to proc quite often. If it stuns them too much, it's going to actually make them unstoppable. So we'll have to see how that goes. The damage is not really that high. Obviously, this will go up as your level of the item power goes up. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, it's okay. Trickery. When you use a subterfuge skill, leave behind an unstable shadow decoy trap that taunts enemies. The shadow decoy trap will explode after 6 seconds, dealing shadow damage. Cannot occur once more than every 5 seconds. That is really good, because that's pretty defensive. I mean, obviously it's defensive right there, but the damage is really good too. So this is gonna like taunt them towards the enemy or towards your little minion, your decoy, and it's gonna explode. This could be nice, just alleviate some of that stress off of you, because obviously if they are taunted to the decoy, you're not going to be hit as much, you won't need to heal as much, which goes into the nerf to your sustain on the rogue. That's pretty good. I like that one. Let's see the clip shot. Lucky hit, up to 20 to 40% chance for your cutthroat skills to slow by 40% for 3 seconds, and your marksman skills to knock back enemies. Knockback is not that great because, like the fear, they go further away from you, you can't kill them. Obviously, it is a marksman skill, so you will be in ranged anyway. So, yeah, I don't like it that much. I mean, the slow, you can get other kinds of slows at somewhere else, so not really that great or impressed by this one. The Vile Apothecary. Let's see. Your attacks have a 5 to 15% chance to apply all imbuement effects at 40 to 50% of normal potency. That is strong. I believe there's one on that does, there's an aspect on Rogue that puts it on all your rain of arrows, has all of the imbuement effects as well, and that's really strong. So this could be really, really strong because it has a chance to apply to everything. So that's really good. I like that one. And then Sorcerer, Tal Rasha. Ooh. For each unique element you deal damage with, you deal 7 to 12% increased damage for 3 to 10 seconds. For each you deal increased damage. Does that mean every single element's going to give you 7 to 12%, or together going to add up? Because if that's every single element could give you up to 12%. That's fire, frost, lightning. That's 36% increased damage. That's pretty huge. I mean, we've never had a problem with damage on Sorc. It's always been survivability, which has been nerfed. So we'll see how that goes. But I do like that. Could make some interesting build with like using all the elements. Let's see. Spell Breaking. After taking elemental damage, gain 20-40% resist to that element for 5 seconds. I don't know why they added this, because resistance doesn't really do jack for us right now. Until they rework the resist, I think they should just take all aspects and everything away with it. But, you know, it's our defensive part is pretty much useless on Sorc. Nice. Moving on. Spite. When you are affected with a crowd control effect, there is a 20-40% chance that the same enemy and enemies around you are also afflicted with the same effect for 3 seconds. Don't like it, because you don't want to be crowd controlled. Like I said before, what is with them trying to make us get crowd control and then break out of it? Just don't crowd control us. It's not fun. Not a fun mechanic. Nobody wants to be crowd controlled. So, again, don't like this one. Omni Power. Core skills that launch a projectile consume all of your mana. Okay. For every 45 to 35 extra mana consumed, you launch an additional projectile and the damage is increased by 3 to 5%. So core skills being your ice thingy, your lightning thingy, and the frozen orb, I believe, is a core skill as well. Interesting. I mean, we already have some mana issues anyway. Oh, we could use the passive that gives you the free cast, so that could potentially make this really, really strong. So we'll see how that goes, but again, it's just buffing more damage, and we're still getting nerfed in all the defense. Both of our defensive / utility ones are absolute garbage, but these two pretty good. So everybody seems to at least got one to two good hearts, and then the overall hearts seem okay-ish. Retaliation, or was it this one? Don't like that one, don't like that one. Where was the one with the defense? The resource gen, I like that one, probably the best utility there. And then the defense one with the overtime, I like that one. This one over here, so Revenge, the best defense one in my opinion. And then the best offensive one is up for debate, because that's AoE based. Core skills, yeah. Barber was actually pretty good too with all the crit stacking over there. But overall, they seem interesting. Definitely a push in the right direction to try and get us back to where we were. To have some fun and experiment with other builds other than crit and vulnerable builds. Because if you're making a crit vulnerable build right now, you're going to make Blizzard nerve us. So stop making crit vulnerable build, guys. Make fun builds that aren't as fast, but they're fun. At least you can suck, but you can have fun. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I'm just playing around, but yeah, it is what it is. The hearts are there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like and a sub. Helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people on the next one. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the